What comes to mind when you hear the word church? I'm David Bridgman, talking about church today. In our Route 66 journey, we turn to the book of Acts. It's the story of how what we call church got started. Now the challenge is, because we are nearly 2,000 years removed from the day of Jesus, it's easy to confuse what we experience in the local church with what God had in mind. So let's examine the 4 essential ingredients of a healthy church. It's found in Acts chapter 2, verse 42, which reads, "All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to sharing in meals, and to prayer." Healthy ingredient number 1, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching. The rabbis in the Old Testament, why their concern was to teach life and teach wisdom. Instruction was all about how to live, and there was a relationship between teacher and pupil. The mistake we make is we make it too complicated. Jesus makes it simple when he taught, love God, love people. Simple, not easy. It's a lifelong relationship between God and between others. It's a lifelong process of knowing, applying, and living the essentials. We always provide you with a discussion guide so you can dive deeper into today's topic. You can click on that link at this time. Healthy ingredient number 2, they devoted themselves to fellowship. Fellowship. Now that's a churchy word that often is a sign over the door of a room in a church building where donuts and coffee are served or spaghetti dinners happen. But that is not what the word means, nor is it what God has in mind. Church is supposed to be a place where people meet each other, know each other, and do life together. See a need, meet a need, and gladly share. The goal is unity, not uniformity, because we celebrate differences. Why don't you start practicing fellowship with your spouse, your kids, your coworker, your boss, your friend at school? You could also practice fellowship by participating in one of the local missions of Jerome Church. Click on the link and sign up to serve now. On Baptism Sunday, October 13th, we're going to practice fellowship by welcoming new people into the church. You might want to join us that day. Now here's healthy ingredient number 3. It reads, they devoted themselves to sharing in meals. You know, eating. Eating is a big deal in the Bible. And one of two things happen when people eat together. Either relationships are formed or relationships are broken. Kind of like your own home and my home. Come on, families and churches, let's share a meal together. Let's stop shoving food over the seats on the way to our next event for which we're already late. Food is so much more than calorie intake. Don't swipe, eat, talk, and pray. Which leads us to our 4th healthy ingredient of a church. They devoted themselves to prayer. The first century church prayed like all the time about everything. Prayer is supposed to be as natural, intuitive, as involuntary as blinking or breathing. Who are you praying for today? Who is praying for you? Please pray with your kids. It's one of the greatest jobs you have. And there are people around Jerome Church who are praying, and we would love to pray with you and for you. Now, if you don't have a church home where healthy behaviors are being practiced, please, for your sake, and for the sake of the people you live with, start a relationship with Jesus in and through a local church. I'm David Bridgman. I'll see you right here next week.